Hello, and thank you for joining me. This video is part of the Iron Orchid Designs Q1 2024 release. My name is Shannon, and I'm with Creating with Shannon at Pick & Moose Vintage, and I'm going to show you what I created. This is with the all-new paint inlay. My favorite of the IOD products. I absolutely love the paint inlays because you just can create so much with them, and they're so fun, they're so versatile, and I just love them. Anyway, this is the Lattice Rose Paint Inlay, and during this video I'm going to show you how I created this project, so stick around. So the first thing I did is I went to Home Depot and I got 7 boards. And they look too crisp and clean for them to look like reclaimed wood. So what I did was I took my hammer and I used both sides and I just hammered each of these little boards just to get some imperfections, some dents, something that's going to make it look a little aged. After I did that, I went ahead and I grabbed my sander and I sanded down everything just to make sure that there weren't any pieces of, the wood sticking out or a chance for me to get a splinter or anything like that. So a quick sand. And then I took some texture additive and just mixed it with some white chalk paint. This was just going to give me a base coat on the boards, but I wanted to have that textured layer because most of the reclaimed wood does have some kind of old texture and like layers of paint. So that's why I added that. So now is the fun part. I love paint inlays. You never know what you're going to get. Depending on your base layer color, how thick you put the paint on, and what color the paint inlay is. It is just so much fun, and I just thoroughly enjoy them. Time to cut the papers so they're going to fit on the boards. They're not quite long enough, so I just cut them in strips and I'll match them up as I go. Now, when I put on paint inlays, I generally spray them with my little mister bottle. However, I just recently moved to North Carolina and I cannot find my mister bottle. When applying the paint before you put the paint inlay on, you need to make sure you give it a nice even coat. Not too much paint, but you got to make sure that there is enough paint. So I kind of equate it to 2 layers of paint at the same time. If you have too little paint, the image may not go onto your board. Too much paint, it gets a lot of wrinkles and little pockets in your paint inlay. So depending on your look, if you don't want a heavy inlay print, then use less paint. If you want a really solid, nice, crisp paint inlay imprint, then use a little bit more paint. After I put my paint inlay on where I want it, I'm going to take a damp rag and I'm just going to apply it evenly over the paint inlay just to dampen my paint inlay, because what I want to do is I want it to release the paint more or less from the backer sheet so it'll go into the paint. After I give it a little bit of water, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take saran wrap. I've found that just like in decoupage, if you take the saran wrap, you can push it down and get out wrinkles as you are, applying pressure to the paint inlay. I find it to work really good, better than the brayer and better than a paintbrush or something like that. So I really like the saran wrap. I'll repeat the process for all of my boards, and then what I need to do is let them dry. For me, this is the hardest part because I'm so impatient. I just want to peel off the backing. I want to see what I've created. I'm using a variety of different colors, and the inlays are different colors. I just want to see how each one is going to turn out. The boards are dry, and it's now time to release the paint inlay into the paint. So you'll notice that your paper is dried and it's completely stuck to the board. So you simply take your mister bottle or a little wet rag and you reactivate the paper by getting it wet. And you want to make sure you use enough water, but not too much water. You just want to make sure that you get all of the paper wet, not damp and soaking, just a little bit wet so you can release the paper. So when you pull the paper back, you release the paint inlay and it sticks into the paint because the paint inlay and the paint have now become one, and you're simply removing the backing. Okay, now for my favorite part. Pulling back the courier sheet or the transfer sheet, whatever you want to call it, the backing of the paint inlay, pulling it off and revealing your design. This to me is just like, ah! So on each color, I'm just simply amazed at how different they are, even with the same pattern, just with a different background. So I'm just going to show you each of these real quick. Please comment below which one is your favorite color combo. For me, I really love the yellow background and the green background with the roses on top. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But actually, they really are all beautiful. But if I had to choose, it would probably be the yellow. Oh no, the green. I'll go with the green with the roses on top. Now I'm going to do one more step before sealing them. Because I want these to look like reclaimed old wall panels with maybe some, it's like the old wallpaper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm just going to smudge and pull some colors out of each one of these paint inlays, just so it looks a little bit more authentic, because right now I got nice, crisp, clean lines with the paint inlay. So if I take a little bit of water and I just push some of the paint around and smear it, it's going to give it more of an old appearance where it looks a little bit more antique. Now that they're all revealed, I need to let the paint dry. When it comes to sealing your paint inlays, there's a couple different ways. I know the sisters recommend rolling it. However, I have found the best way with no smudges, and it's just easy for me, is to use a product that is solvent-based. I use a clear coat varnish, solvent-based, and I can brush it on, and I don't have any smearing, any smudging, anything. It comes in both matte or gloss. For this, though, I wanted it to be matte, so I chose to use matte. So after the varnish dried, I assembled my boards in the pattern and the order that I wanted them to be for my design. I decided I was going to do a heart. So I flipped the boards over, I drew a heart, then I used my jigsaw, cut it out. Once the sealer dried, I went ahead and I just applied a little bit of dark wax just to continue to give it another layer of dimension, another layer to make it look like antiqued, reclaimed wood. And then I took 2 boards on the back, applied heavy body gel. Heavy body gel is the bomb. I use it for everything. It's solid glue. In anything that I need to use and glue something on, I use a heavy body gel. It is amazing stuff. Comes in both gloss and matte. Anyway, I used the heavy body gel, glued the heart together, put on a little hanger on the back, and then put it on the wall. I just think it came out super cute, and I'm going to be hanging this in my daughter's room, and I know she will love it when she sees it.